to all of our viewers and listeners out there. You are watching INCRadio Sacramento.
Whenever we need him, he's always there. There's no one else who does what he can do. Each time we seek him, oh, he always cares. Don't ever fear, he's just a prayer away.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to INC Radio Sacramento. We are here all together with all of you with a really, really fun topic, and I think it's going to be very timely for all of us. So here in INC Radio Sacramento, we always talk about the simple life. So come and join us on our journey to learn more how to live a simple life on INC Radio Sacramento. One of the things that I think can be really simple is kind of deciding how you want to relax. Maybe that can be a simple task. But when we think about going on a vacation, that can get it can quickly become stressful. There's lots of things to think about, coordinate, plan. Obviously, because you're traveling, you want to expand your time as much as you can to enjoy your vacation, but also be ready for anything. Sometimes you want to be flexible, and sometimes you want to be able to know what's going on. So we'll talk about all that today with tips on how to have an enjoyable vacation. So I want to introduce the team that's with me here today. We have a very familiar face. Hi, Kiana. You're with us today, our very own Kiana Bradshaw. Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you? INC Radio.
I'm doing well, just, enjoying.
Relaxing.
We also have two familiar faces, not from INC Radio Sacramento, but they are here as very, very special for our broadcast today. First, I want to introduce our own Stefan from LAC. Hey.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for inviting me. And I'm glad to be here with INC Radio Sacramento.
Whoop, whoop. So Stefan is a producer from LAC, so he's going to be joining us today. Thanks for joining us, bro. We also have another familiar face. We have he is one of the hosts for INC Radio San Francisco satellite. And he is actually going to be very involved in this conversation today with me. Please welcome James Santos. Hey.
Hi, INC Radio Sacramento. It's a pleasure, and thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. It's so great to have everybody here together. So everyone on our YouTube chat, you are welcome to send your greetings to all of us, especially familiar faces representing the Bay Area and Southern California with us today in INC Radio Sacramento. But I wanted to ask everybody, we're going to be talking about vacations today. What is a funny mishap? It could have been stressful at the time, but a funny mishap that happened to you on your vacation. A funny mishap that happened on your vacation. So before we go into what some of our viewers and listeners may be responding to that question, Stefan, do you have anyone who's on our YouTube chat who's already sending their greetings?
Yes, so definitely. So first one is sister. So your first one is with Alinita Kanowski. She is from NCL or hashtag NCL Sacramento. She says, "Happy windy Saturday. Greetings from the local Sacramento." We have brother Ron Menorca. He says, "INC Radio, hello." And we have sister Sorlia Atisado. She says, "Good morning, Paul. Happy viewing from Fairfield. Hashtag NCL Fairfield." We have sister Aliana May Atisado, with also says, "Hi, sister Kiana." And we have Lydia De La Cruz. They says, "Good morning, Paul, brethren. Happy viewing from Fairfield." And wow. And then we have also brother Brielle Atisano. He says happy viewing from Fairfield po. So hashtag NCL Fairfield. So
Awesome.
definitely the local Fairfield is definitely in the house. So thank
Yes,
you.
Fairfield. Let's
Definitely.
go.
So
Come
thank
on,
you, Fairfield.
Roseville. Awesome. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Stefan, for reading our district's names. You did really great. Thank you, everyone, joining us and who are sending their greetings. We already feel your love, so thank you. Keep that coming. I wanted to first introduce well, we already introduced him, but James from Bay Area, from San Francisco. We're going to be talking about traveling today. You are an avid traveler. Tell us how you became an avid traveler and how you have this, how you became so full of advice for us as we discuss our topic today.
It actually just started actually just recently, last 2 years. I made it my goal when I moved into my current job was to travel more. It was one thing that I never really got to do a little bit earlier in my years, is that I never really got to see the rest of outside of the Bay Area, right? You get so used to the Bay. You have everything everything you would want here in the Bay Area. You want food. You can go San Jose. You can go Oakland. You can go San Francisco. You can go Berkeley. You want thrift shops. You can go all the way to Sacramento. I know you guys got some cool stuff out there. Um, so you have everything you really want here, but you never really get to see what it's like outside of it. And it kind of stemmed from a trip I took to Wyoming in 2019, right? A little bit before the pandemic. Is that was my first time going outside of the States. And I've been to a few places before. I used to live in Henderson, Nevada. So shout out to Henderson. I actually just came from there last week for a wedding. But it was in 2019. I took a trip to Wyoming to help out with a mushroom growing project
Yes, I remember that.
right. So definitely it was my first time doing one, for example, a solo trip. I went by myself. I didn't really have my family with me, but I was with some really cool friends that I still keep in touch with, and made some really great memories with. But it was a 20-hour drive, and I've never driven that far
Woo!
out, right? So it was that experience, seeing what was out there, right? It was my first time seeing flatscapes, complete just barren
Mhm.
plains, right? Just one highway roads. I thought my first thunderstorm, my first hailstorm, my first
Mm.
almost tornado.
Oh,
It was
wow.
yeah. So it was a lot of things happening there, but it was such an interesting experience. It made me really feel like I was like, yo, there's so much
Mm.
more for me to see out there outside of the Bay Area. Because like I said, there's a lot of people that stay in the Bay and they never really go out, right? They go take a trip, take a vacation here and then, but they're really just grounded here. So what that inspired me to do was kind of see what else was out there. So I've taken trips to Utah. So shout out to Utah. Shout out to the folks over at Salt Lake City. Just this September, I just came from Florida. I took a 2-week vacation over at Jacksonville and Orlando. That was for my
Mhm.
25th birthday, so I wanted to do something
Hey.
big. Yeah, absolutely. It was fantastic. And that was actually where I also found my first hurricane warning. That was kinda crazy, but, there's a lot of different things you kinda see and you kinda experience when you go travel, right? I've never experienced a hard storm. I mean, here in Cali, we're so blessed to have great weather. I mean, yeah, it gets cold, gets a little warm, but it's never too crazy, right? So with that being said, it's been a pleasure, and it's been one of my goals in to really travel and see, not only just right now I'm sticking to domestic. There's a lot of places I still want to visit. Memphis is one. They have great barbecue there from what I'm told. Chicago is another. But primarily my biggest focus is food. Like if I can travel to the best places in the country and try to experience the different foods they have, then man, I'd already be having a fulfilled life.
Awesome. So it sounds like we have somebody who got bit by the travel bug and already got some, experience under his belt. So what we're going to do is, before we get into more of the tips of what James has for us, let's go ahead and welcome Kiana, because we all have, we know who Kiana is. And for those of us who don't know, she is the president of the Christian Society of the Deaf. who has some ASL words for us. So she has 3 ASL words of the day for us. So if Kuya Tech, if we can get into our grid view, we're going to join Kiana in the ASL portion. So take it away, Kiana.
All right. So, hello, everyone. Yes, again, I am the CSD president here in Northeast California. So the 3 words I have for you today is going to be vacation, travel, and going to. Going to is a verb, so I'll explain that later. So the first one is vacation. So everyone get your 5 hands up.
5 hands.
5 hands. And then you're going to tap your thumbs are going to be like right here on your chest. So you could do at the same time, or you can alternate. This means vacation. So if you're going on vacation or there's like holiday, it's like that's what it is.
Oh.
Yeah. So the next one is going to be travel. So I've seen this go outwards and inwards. So we're gonna have our 2 hand now. So everyone have their index. Oh, that is a lot of
Celebration,
We're
it's a
going to
celebration.
bend it.
It's a celebration.
We're so happy to travel. So you're going to bend it.
Okay,
And
we
then you're
will
going to
show
circle.
in a circle.
Yeah, so
Travel.
bend the V, and then it looks like this. So that's travel. You can do it one big way, you could do it the other way, and it's still travel.
Okay.
So the next one, that caught me off guard. The next one and our last word for this segment is going to be going to. So like, let's say you're going to a resort. Let's say you're going to a resort or you're going on vacation, you're going on vacation. So when you're doing going to, you'll have your index fingers and it's just going to point. Now this is a verb, so we're just doing one motion. So you're going. If you're attending something, maybe you're attending like an event or something that's in a different city, different country, then you'll be attending. That's twice. Since it's not a verb, so our nouns will normally be twice. And then we'll do going. So we're going somewhere, going on vacation.
So can you see me? So I'm going on vacation.
Yes.
Yay!
Yes. Let's go.
I like that.
Good job. Nice.
Nice.
Oh, I forgot these.
Thank you. Yay, yeah. That's so awesome. Thank you, Kiana. I hope everyone who's able to view us through YouTube was able to see Kiana's ASL words, and you were able to all join along. You are always welcome to go back on YouTube to find INCRadio Sacramento for today's date, and you can rewatch this episode. So thank you, Kiana. That was fun. All right, so Stefan, did anyone, because we want to make sure we have enough time for our conversation today, did anyone respond with a funny, stressful at the time mishap on their vacation?
No, so far on YouTube, but if you are listening, for all the viewers, please comment down below and share your stories about any mishaps, because we do want to, throughout the show we will definitely share your stories, and I'm pretty sure there's going to be some good ones. So again, please comment down below and we will definitely share your story.
Thank you, Stefan. All right, everyone. So I mean, I think we would all say that we love vacations, just the nature of going off and having some fun, enjoying the time. It's something that I get really excited about. And, we've been giving so much at our work, working hard on the job. We need some of that rest and restoration, R&R. But there's a lot to prepare, and maybe the R's in R&R goes away. So it's almost extra work to get your job ready for your absence, or it's extra work packing for yourself, maybe your kids, maybe also your spouse, scheduling pet care, planning your travel itinerary, booking everything early and on time, finding good deals, getting from point A to point B to point C, because maybe there's a plane that goes to a train that goes to a boat, and you have to be on time. And sometimes we forget to have fun and relax. And me just saying that makes me feel so tired. tired already, or I don't feel relaxed or restored in any way. But we'll talk about some of this with our special panelists today. James, so thanks again for being with us in INC Radio Sacramento. I wanted to ask, thinking of two characteristics. Would you describe yourself as more go with the flow when you travel, or detailed itinerary? And I know we can range, but if you had to pick one, which would you be, and why does that work for you?
Okay, how detailed of an itinerary? Because I would say, like you said, it could be a range. Absolutely. Do I go with the flow? Absolutely. I don't like to really schedule my trips. I'm
Mhm,
really more of let's see what's out there and let's explore. Like an adventure, right? You never really know what's gonna happen on an adventure, and especially if it's a new place, right? Because the only thing you're really going off of is secondhand information from anyone else, right? It could be your friends, it could be family, it could be things on the internet. Like a place that would be fantastic to other people may not be fantastic for you.
mhm,
So I am going with the flow. Of
okay,
course, it does point to direction of where you want to be, right? For example, um, in a previous trip to, like I said, in Florida, I have no clue. I've never been in the East Coast my life,
mhm,
right? So, and I did try to reach out to other people, and they've given me recommendations,
mhm,
but it's always a question mark, right? Whether or not it's going to be a hit or miss. Like, so really, it depends on who you're with. If you're by yourself, absolutely explore
mhm,
wherever you want to go. Um, like I've done solo trips to LA a few times, and everywhere I wanted to go, whatever my interests lie,
mhm.
I went to. I went to the flea
Yes.
markets, I went to the thrift shops, I went to everything
Mhm,
that I really wanted because I had freedom to do so.
mhm.
So yes, I would definitely go with the flow. If I wanted to eat pizza, I would buy
Yes.
pizza. Love it right
Yeah.
then. But in
Pizza. Di- Different show. Let's do that. Uh-huh.
exactly. And then if yeah, I'll just list all my favorite foods right there.
All the toppings.
Right. And then but in regards to, like, and it depends 'cause,
Yeah.
like, you can go with the flow, absolutely, that's actually what I do most of the time, but, for
Mhm,
example, if it's a little bit more structured, let's say it's a planned trip.
mhm,
Florida was a planned trip. It was a 25th for myself, and it
mhm.
was the initial intent was to go by myself to go a concert of a band that was actually coming back on tour, after 10 some years. So,
Well,
that was my
fun.
main highlight of the trip, right?
Right.
But I had
And
nothing
you
else
were
planned after that.
flexible
Right,
around that one. Okay. And I
right,
like what you're saying about it depends on who you're with. When you're with your Lola, your grandma, we the pace is gonna change a little bit, depending on how spry, your Lola is. When you're traveling with your friends. My husband and I are traveling with two friends very soon, and we really have to, yeah, we have to schedule free time because
that's
we
right.
want to be considerate. And then totally understand you on that, James, when we're traveling kind of on our own, very much kind of going with the flow. Kiana and Stefan, are you both are you either go with the flow or detailed itinerary? Which one are you?
Hmm. I feel like I feel like both times, not both times. I went out a few times. But both of the times that I
More than
go,
two.
there's always like some sort of event that I'm attending or
Mm-hmm,
some sort of like get together that I'm going to.
mm-hmm.
So I think having like the itinerary is nice. Especially
Great.
because if I know I'm not gonna be out for too long, I know the longest I was gone on vacation was like a week. And because
Mm-hmm,
of that, to be able to plan what I can do outside of what I have to do is like
mm-hmm,
important. I know recently I went and traveled to Canada and we didn't have a full itinerary, but there were things that were planned.
mm-hmm.
So scheduling that time, I
Vacation.
mean,
Yep.
thankfully my sister is willing to come along with my friends. But that kind of stuff sort
Yeah.
of it kind of changes like what you
Mm-hmm.
do. Like the days we didn't have anything and we're like, okay, we're relaxing. We're like, are we relaxing? Like, what do we do? Like,
Oh, so
So
yeah,
yeah.
good point. So sometimes when we don't plan maybe enough for someone's
Mhm.
comfort level, then we do get a little maybe anxious or like really wanting to enjoy the time more uniquely
Yeah.
because you're in a new place, right?
Yeah.
I like
It just
that.
kind of
That's a
feels
good
like,
point.
oh, I'm here, but I'm not enjoying everything here. So
Mhm.
unless I was there before, I think I would have been okay staying in a hotel. But
Yeah. You know what, Kiana, you just convinced me that I think I'm itinerary because of what you just said. I
Ooh.
like going with the flow because I think in my mind I'm going with the flow.
Yeah.
But yeah, if there's like 3 museums and I'm not going to those, I'm like, "Can we
Mhm.
go to those museums? Like, can we go? Can we see the boardwalk?" Like, yeah, so I think I'm more itinerary, but a nice, I maybe not to stress, have the itinerary, but still have the flexibility is what I'm kind of hearing from both of you. Stefan, which do you lean towards? And then we'll move on to the next question, but which do you lean towards?
Literally, I'm just like James. Like there are times where like, I want to stick with that itinerary, right? Like, I want to
Mhm,
be as efficient as possible,
mhm,
during my stay there. But there are
mhm,
times where like I want to kind of, be, adventurous and visit like the most like popular trendiest, coffee shops, right? Or,
sure.
or if I want to visit like the most popular, places, right? There are there are definitely some times where I want to be, kind of like be exploring outside of the itinerary, but
Mhm,
majority of the time, I try to be as efficient
yeah.
as possible because I only have like a week or sometimes 3 days in a city, so I want to be I want to visit as much places as possible, and during my time there. So yeah,
Right,
I'm both pretty much.
So the
right.
boys
I
are
think
adventurous.
yes. So I wanted to ask, so for those of us who are keeping finances in mind, and I just want to make sure we touch on this question before the end of the show, which we're already approaching. It's moving so fast. Um, James, do you have any tips on how someone can keep vacations affordable?
Okay. So I what I I actually had this question in mind when I got first introduced to this topic, and it's really important because the best way to enjoy a vacation is not to think about the finances are strict, right? Ideally, you want to go into a vacation without any worries. So definitely, it kind of stems from um, well, one, bargain hunting. It's a bit tedious to
Mhm,
some, but I love it. I love finding a bargain. But of course, a bargain with value. Not saying that you should go for the cheapest option all the time. Sometimes the additional comfort of, for example, plane tickets or maybe uh comfort in and of itself, maybe in your accommodations, whatever it may be.
mhm,
Sometimes that extra comfort will go a long way. So it's really best to kind of maximize what's available, right? If you're familiar um, with travel points for certain credit cards, you can leverage that.
mhm,
There are a lot of travel programs for certain airlines that they can give you great deals. Really signing up for, um, you know, maximizing all those benefits. I'm not sure how deep I can get into this because
that's
I had to
okay.
actually,
There's a lot, I'm sure, but
yeah.
that's a great answer. I think those are great tips that, some of us may not have even thought of or we forget about. So that's great.
Definitely. Also, it's just also like planning ahead, right? If, for example, when I was first starting out, right? I only had so much money to spend on myself and free time and being able to travel, right? So what I did was I used to plan like months in advance, right? If it was a big trip, then I would set aside money like every month, every paycheck, and whenever I could, to the point where when I do go on a trip and or if I haven't thought of where to go yet, um, that's all money that I've set aside just for fun, right? For
Mhm,
the trip itself. That's one way. If you are going to if you are a little bit more financially available to go on trips and long trips and be all right, and your job, of course, PTO and everything aside, is going for it. Then obviously I would go towards really just making sure that everything's handled ahead of time so that when it gets to that point, all you have to do is pack a bag and off you go, right? Um, so yeah, I definitely am more of a prepper prior to the trip than
mhm.
actually on the trip. And like I said, it's really the better you are able to leverage all the benefits you're able to attain, the easier and more relaxed you'll be on the trip because then everything has already been settled and you
Mhm.
really just have to stay in the moment and live in it. And then,
Yeah, stay in
yeah.
the moment and live with
Yeah,
it. I
and
love
also,
that.
also
Go for
there are
it.
two things we do want to talk about when it comes to for all the viewers and listeners out there.
Mhm.
There are two things. Also, there is nothing wrong with doing a staycation, right?
That's
If
what I was thinking.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong
Yes.
because like especially within your neighborhood or within your city, there are
Mhm.
still so many things that you have not yet literally
Yes.
discovered yet. And there are times where like I'll like especially here in Los Angeles, there are a lot of area small cities or even just small areas of Los Angeles that I
Mhm.
want to visit, right? And
Mhm.
there are times where I say, oh, I didn't even know that this was here, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, and then also another point is, it's okay if the best piece of advice that I was given to was, if it's let's say for example, if you can only afford what you can only, like make sure to
Mhm.
book at a trip that you can only afford. You can't don't just book a trip to let's say Hawaii and yeah you have to spend so much money on a trip that
Mhm.
you have to take out savings from your take out money from your savings, right? So
Yes.
that's the most important part. If you can you know do like maybe a day trip, only a 1 day or a 2 days, right? Instead of
Mhm.
a week of a vacation, right? So just
Mhm.
consider that before you take a trip, and then
That's a good one.
yeah. So those are just the two pieces of advice that I was given,
Thank you.
yeah. So again, all those listeners and viewers out there, it's okay to to do a small
Yeah.
vacation.
So so
um,
so those of us who have kids, if you need to go away but still be accessible, go ahead and do a staycation. Go somewhere a little bit, into the next town maybe. Thank you, Stefan. That's so great. And then I know we're closing, but I want to give Kiana. You were gonna say something too.
I was not, but I'm taking the
Never mind.
advice.
Never mind. Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure everyone was able to share. And then it sounds so. We're already at the end. Woo, that time went by. We're already at the end of our show. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I think everyone benefited from hearing the tips and experiences from James and everyone's input, Kiana and Stefan. It sounds like, so kind of just to recap, it sounds like we want to be prepared to maximize our vacation, but also to stay within maybe a budget or a allotted amount that we're comfortable spending. Travel doesn't have to be super fancy. It can definitely be near or far, simple or extravagant. It can just, whatever is accessible and enjoyable for you, because we also want to feel relaxed when we come home and we still look at our bank accounts and we're still okay. And it sounds like there are things scheduled with the spaces of flexibility to enjoy our time and to allow ourselves to go with what we're feeling in the moment. Those are really, really great tips. I know we discussed so much more, but that's basically the summary that I took from our amazing panelists today. So thank you so much for joining us. We are going to go ahead and close off because it is time, and we'll let everyone get on with the rest of what INC radio shows have to offer after us. But before we go, we'd like to end our broadcast giving our special thanks to those who make this broadcast possible: our executive minister, Brother Eduardo Villamanalo; our CESB president and CFO coordinator, Brother Angelo Aranio Villamanalo; our INC radio station manager, Kawali Tarai; our district staff from Northeast California, and our amazing INC radio crew. Thank you so much. And we cannot be enjoying this show without all of the viewers and listeners. We want to express our very, very deep gratitude for all of you who are joining us in our conversation. Tune in next Saturday at 11 p.m. Pacific time for more conversations. Get ready, get set, get on INC Radio Sacramento. Bye, everybody.
bye.